mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what? Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah.
What's up, and welcome to another exciting episode of Ride the Rebellion. I'm your host, Drew, and with me today, as always, is the king of the South Alabama Turndown, the reigning, defending Reb champion, and the only guy to, I don't know, I had one, but it fell apart in my brain a little bit. It might have been too far. It would have been a relevant joke to a previous conversation only in this room.
Oh.
So I'm just going to let it go.
Would have been good, though.
Yeah. It had to it had to do with basketball.
Oh, yeah.
The only guy to get canceled 13 years later. Dale Boyd of Dale Boyd Sports Management and Cancellation Services.
I'm still here. And that was a true statement that I made 13 years ago. It really was.
I'm sure 13 years ago, it's fine.
USA basketball game.
Yeah.
So it was good. Hey, welcome everyone. Glad you're here. This isn't a basketball podcast.
I'm going to have to zoom out the camera here in a second so
Yeah.
we can actually see that shirt. So welcome to the show. As always, this is a zero drop podcast. That means that we don't give two shits if you ride in Pisgah, if you ride in Colorado, if you ride in Nevada, as we learned. Don't say Nevada, Nevada. If you ride in Whistler, those are all awesome places, and thank you for listening. But if you're like the rest of us and you ride on trails, some of you guys have mountains, but if the rest of us, if you're just riding trails and you're having a good time and you don't necessarily resonate with the full send it lifestyle, then you can hang out with us too. We don't really give a shit. This is a podcast for everybody. That's the point. So if you haven't, head on over to all your favorite socials and follow us at Ride the Rebellion. I don't think we're on X, or what is he calling it now? Zeet?
I don't know.
We
went on there yesterday, my wife and I, trying to find the origin of the X, and he put out a tweet. Is that what it's still called?
Zeet.
A Zeet. So he put it out.
XEET, I believe is what it is now.
He
Zeet.
put out a open call for somebody to design the logo. So that X
He literally fired it.
Yeah, so that X was put in the comments. But then the dude got called out because the X logo is actually just a font. That is already a font that the dude just put as an X.
Oh,
so he just typed an X in a font, put it up there. It's still awesome. Whatever. Hey,
God.
Elon's doing what Elon wants to do, and
no,
it's
I
great.
look, I have no. It's his thing.
I'm still standing behind the fact that he's just trying to destroy it. Like he's just gonna.
So there's an interesting new rumor that it's going to be that he's trying to drive everything towards video, and that the concept eventually. So he's got to tear it down to rebuild it.
Yeah.
I think he wants to go after YouTube.
That's a good idea.
Because think about the platform limitations.
Right.
I mean, we've been deplatformed once or twice. We got hit with back in the COVID days. We had a COVID strike, but and that's just having a conversation about COVID in the bike industry. Like, how relevant is that shit? But anyway, I think that's what he's doing. I think he's going after that side of it.
It makes sense. There's no other competitor, right? Tumblr doesn't exist anymore. Did it even exist for anything other than...
Tumblr does for weird shit.
Yeah.
I think Tumblr's become like a haven of like dirtiness.
But what's the one you got? Vimeo? Is that
but
that's not public
though,
right?
Yeah.
It's not like
it is, but it's not. Vimeo is like you can embed onto a website with Vimeo, and people can go look at stuff on Vimeo.
Right.
But typically, that's more of an artist page, so it's like there's no ads. Right, so you're going to Vimeo and you're just watching straight content. So people put stuff there, but creators aren't really there's no monetization. So why would I put it there unless it's a Patreon type thing? So a lot of times Patreon, the back end of Patreon is Vimeo.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Right, because you don't have ads. You're not going to get served an ad in the middle of you paid for ad free essentially.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know. I've been following some of the Elon stuff and it's really funny. He posted a picture? If you guys haven't seen this, you should go to his his X site.
X gonna give it to you.
I can't even, but it's like he's in Canada and he has a jacket on over a shirt that says I love, and when he put the jacket on, it only has anal. Like it's like spelling Canada, but he like covered up part of the D so it says I love anal. God. And it's hilarious. And he's trolling everybody, like the whole thing. It's so funny.
He's just I mean, I don't get it. I mean, like the Teslas have a fart sound.
I know. Yeah, they have a whole bunch of when you set down the whoopee cushion thing.
Yeah, they've got all these different features. That's true stuff. Horse has them. He had to show them all to me. And then because it's so quiet, they have little sounds, and one of them is horse hooves. So it's like It's amazing.
There's another one when he was doing one of the SpaceX things.
Yeah.
They were like, he came in and they were like, why does the fuselage look so much like a penis? And he's like, it needs to be more flaccid. Like he wanted it to be a dick shape.
Right.
Which is...
well, part of it's because of Spaceballs.
Right.
Because allegedly he loves Spaceballs so much.
I think it's kind of what the great thing about Elon is the way if we got rich, like, but I'm not that smart, so like he's way.
So that's what's scary is that he's super genius
right.
and an idiot at the same time.
Right,
like,
and he would just troll people. But we would just troll people too.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Watch me trolling.
Andy and I, my buddy, were having a conversation yesterday about like not working, and he was like, "I know people always say if I won the lottery, I'd still work." And he's like, I wouldn't work at all.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, only lazy people want to work because they don't have anything else to do. They have no other life.
I'd have plenty to do.
I know.
Speaking of plenty to do,
that's right.
First thing I'd do if I had $1 million is head on over to Overpriced Tattoo. I'm just kidding. Overpricedtattoos.com, our newest sponsor. I'm just kidding. If I did have the money, because that's how I'd have to use some of the $1 million to pay my wife off because she refuses to let me have a tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And I really just want no regrets, right on my arm. I've talked about it before, but I would head over to Kevin Black at Man of War Tattoo. Does great work. Mm-hmm. Got to see Kevin not too long ago.
I rode with him Sunday.
How was that?
It was good. It was great. He's
hot
going
as balls.
Very hot.
Did he wear black?
I think he always wears black. I've never seen him anything other than that.
He wears black, and he's like, I got to live to my namesake.
Yeah, he's racing this weekend in Chattanooga, a raccoon.
Oh, is he really doing the raccoon one? He mentioned that to me. Kevin's super fun. If you haven't had a chance to ride with him, that's one thing. Like if he's in your area and you see him, if you don't know what he looks like, go look him up. He's at the end of last time's episode, 2 times ago, the bump and grind episode.
Oh yeah.
If you go look at him, his ridiculousness. But Kevin's super fun to ride with, and then. Frankly, like if you really are looking for a tattoo, I would trust Kevin because I trust Kevin on trails, which means if I'm trusting with my life, I can trust him with a needle gun.
Right.
Which look no further than Man of War Tattoos for that.
That's right.
Type of thing.
He did my first one, and I had no regrets.
Yeah, no regrets. It's solid.
And the reason I have no regrets is because I usually spend my days at Run and Try, getting my shoes and my shirts and my nutrition.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I actually was going to naturally segue. I will tell you, I switched. I don't do Strava anymore. I'm Garmin only.
Yeah.
Garmin not sponsor of the show, but Garmin could be a sponsor of the show.
Garmin
they
Connect
get
is
hundreds of dozens of views. But the one thing I've noticed, I added running in, and I did get my shoes from Run and Try. This is true stuff. I did add in. I got some ultras again, but I added running back into my fitness routine. So I run just twice a week.
Good time of year to start that, by the way.
Yeah, it was miserable. I run at like 5 a.m., so it's not nuclear bad. But I did add it to my routine. Here's what's crazy. I ran this morning. Now, I'm not running Dale Boyd sports fuck you times. But first off, I practice nose breathing just because it's hard, right? And it's better conditioning for you, they say. I don't know. It's just fun for me. It gives me something to do. But I literally, my heart rate had been like, it would hit 140 and then would start, I get up by the second mile, I'm in the 150 category. It took me to I do 2.5 mile loop because it's a simple path for me to do. It was the last half, my heart rate finally started getting over 145. And then the last quarter mile, it hit 150. That's like awesome. The rest of the time, it's just 2 times, just running 2.5 miles twice a week and riding still, but has changed my conditioning. And part of that is the fact that like my feet don't hurt anymore when I run because I update my shoes regularly, which sounds like a sales gimmick.
It's not.
It's not. It's actual fact.
2 things that I've heard there. One, I've started doing, I have a new watch so I can track my heart rate runs better. So I've been doing a lot of.
Did you get conditioning points for it? Like where it's like, hey,
Yeah.
So I've done so many. I think it changed my lower heart rate now.
Yeah.
Like my resting heart rate has changed because of that.
Yeah. So one day a week I'll go super fast. Like I went under 7-minute pace the other day for 4 miles. But other runs, like I've run every day this week. So at like 9:30 a.m. when it's 1,000 degrees, it's so intelligent.
That's on you.
But I'm trying to do like under 150 heart rate runs, right? And so if I can do under 150 heart rate runs, and then every time I do it, I'm increasing the pace and staying under 150.
Right.
And if you do it on the same track where you're not changing elevations, it's easier to test. And like I went from In 3 weeks, I went from at 150, I was doing like a, I don't know, 8:45 pace to now under 150. I'm doing like 8:12, 8:15, and it's crazy.
So what's wild is the watch helps, and it's way better than Strava. I'm not knocking Strava. Everybody loves.
No, you can knock Strava because they suck.
It sucks compared to this.
Yeah.
The fact that you get this metrics. Now I even started using a heart rate monitor, which I've always done that just because I like to see those things, and so it's even more accurate for me. And seeing that data encourages me because I also know it's going to affect my riding, which is part of what we'll talk about later. But like part of my riding is shifted. So like for me, it's like that's important now for what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to accomplish. So like I want to have more fun.
Right.
And putting in that training makes it more fun. And ironically enough, you can listen to this podcast while you run.
That's right. That is.
We're at 45 to whatever.
That's a good run.
It's a good run. And you might only listen to it in parts.
Right.
You could start it running, get all sweaty, then take us into the shower with you.
Ooh. We'll whisper sweet nothings about our sponsors in your ears.
We haven't even made it through the sponsor
So
segment.
the other point I was going to make when you were talking about doing the nose breathing stuff, if anybody out there is running, try this. So you're doing all your nose breathing, and then all of a sudden you open your mouth up and breathe big, like you'll have a burst of energy.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever take this to mechanicals like cars and hot rods, they have blown engines because that big blower opens up, sucks in all that air, and gives it a boost of power. So it's like that same philosophy where you're limiting the air. The air is the air is what's propelling you, essentially, the oxygen. So
I also find it like if I start gassing a little bit, I take a mouth breathe, it'll crank it back up.
Yeah.
But then it's also like if I start feeling a little bit of fatigue in the sense of like my specific areas like legs or whatever, if I do that, just that thought process helps break that up. Mm-hmm. I still have some trouble with my Achilles. That's where I'm struggling.
My feet hurt bad. Like when I wake up in the morning, I can barely I lumber around the house. But once I get running, I'm okay. I know that you're supposed to not run through pain, but I'm not going to be lazy.
Dale Boyd, pain management.
We are not doctors on this, but we did stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
But I can tell you personally, and I'm not necessarily the thinnest guy. If that's, I don't think that's a great metric for health. But if it is for you, great. I'm not the thinnest guy in the world, but I'll tell you, I do firmly believe that adding both running and walking to your normal routine is going to affect your bike riding, which I think is really, really awesome. Mm-hmm. And another way to affect your bike riding is by going over to dirtcoasteracademy.com and seeing when their next class is, because they will directly affect your bike riding.
That's right.
By the way, in fairness, we got a text message from Toby. It was quite hilarious.
It was funny.
Where he was like, hey, I am so sorry. I've been very busy. He was in a play.
Which is awesome. That picture was really cool.
It's very impressive. He's a thespian now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not to be confused with your people. That was the joke.
Oh, wow.
Literally, folks.
Whoa. Wormhole.
Anyway, if you haven't gone over to Dirt Coaster, you should. I think it's well worth the training. I think most people that go through it. I think it's also good to maybe consider that we talked about this a while back for bike clubs to do it, but I even think individual, it's not a bad thing to go just go see where you are to get your progress, to just get somebody else's feedback. Mm-hmm. And if you're super bashful or you're super self-conscious or you're just super ego-driven and don't want to do it, you can also have them do private stuff. That sounds naughty. You can do a private class, and the private classes, there you go. So you can go over and get that. So think of it more like that's coaching at that point. If you want them to coach you, then they're available to coach you, and all you got to do is go to dirtcoasteracademy.com.
Absolutely. We have been using group rides to get through our summer, right? Like it's propelling us to ride our bikes. Like I look forward to going riding that south with people because it's so hot. I don't want to go ride by myself anywhere.
I won't.
Right. So we're using group rides to get through things. So with that said, go take some classes and get better so you're better for the group rides. Yeah. Go run or walk when you're not in the group rides so you're better for the group rides. Like you don't have to be fast. You don't have to be great, but if it makes your time more enjoyable with the group, then it makes it better. Like everybody, we ride with our buddies at the Reb, right? And I love every one of them, but a lot of them only go to ride at the Reb, and that's where they ride.
And they also just want to ride downhill.
Right, and they only ride like 1 or 2 days a week. Well, I like to run and ride a lot so that when I'm there, I enjoy it. Like I'm not in pain and I'm not dying and I'm not like, this sucks. I don't want to hit that jump again because I'm too tired.
Yep.
So But I have had that happen to me out there though. Like, remember you had to give me some liquid IV or something. I about fell out that day. But
that's from heat exhaustion.
Yeah, the heat's just brutal. But those are some good tips if you're struggling to go ride right now or struggling to ride ever. Just like you have to. This is still a fitness activity as much as it is social.
Well, it's a good point. The thing that is interesting is that cycling can be solo, but for us in the community that we're around, it's way more fun. I think all of our community would agree. I think most of the listeners on this podcast would agree. It's much more fun with friends.
Absolutely.
Right? Whether those friends are pushing you or they're encouraging you or it's people who don't even know, just that stranger idea. It is way more fun to ride that way. What I thought was interesting is we are seeing more people, which I think is awesome. We're seeing more of the zero drop community start to like exist in other pockets. The more that we can bring up the zero drop, the more that it exists, that means the more people are going to have fun in other spots. And I think that's going to make things super, super better. Once you pet her, though, she's not going to stop. Birdie the bird dog.
Oh, we're talking about Justina.
No comment.
We're talking about
She's
the
no
dog.
bully.
The dog.
Yeah, so one of the things I was going to mention to you, you kind of hinted on it there. I have always, like once I started riding, we've talked about the fitness thing before. The running part was part of that conversation. But another aspect that I thought was really interesting is I've actually started incorporating not just, so I do weights anyway, but I've actually started looping in yoga and then following a stretch routine and doing all this stuff. And yes, I look like an asshat on the trail sometimes. I don't give a shit.
Right.
I could give two fucks. But the fact is like I have had a much better experience riding. My recovery times are through the roof.
Right.
They're way better than they used to be. I do feel like I definitely have more agility. It may not be that my form is perfect, but my agility is there to handle things better. And then the other part of it is like I struggle with lower back stuff, and following my lower back routine and doing this whole lower back every single day that takes literally 3 to 5 minutes. Why not? That's made a huge difference. And so I was thinking in terms of, I know you don't do any of that really.
I'm so bad at it. I do stretch in the shower.
Do you roll stuff out?
I do roll a lot. I foam roll a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not good at pre or post stretching. Maybe
Right.
that's why my feet and my ankles hurt. But I've never been good at it. It's just I don't know. It's like a weird.
But you know that you should be doing it.
Oh, 100%. I know all the stretches and I know all the different movements. I know all of it, but it's just, I don't, like when I get done running, I'm like, all right, I'm done. You know, like, but now I've been walking after running. So I feel like that's kind of like when I walk, I try to take longer strides and maybe get a stretch that way, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It just takes discipline. And I think that, the part that's so counterproductive that I'm disciplined enough to go run, but I'm not disciplined enough to take care of my body to run. Right. Like it makes no sense. It's like, oh, I'll just keep riding my broken bike, you know? Like,
well, I mean, that's more my style.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's a mechanical problem? That is beyond my pay grade.
Well, I mean, it's like, it's the same with running though. It's like, I know what I need to do with stretching. It just doesn't, I just stretch. I do stretch in the shower sometimes. I forget, but I did for a long time because somebody bet me that I couldn't touch my toes. And then of course I did, but I can't now. Yeah.
I mean, it's crucial. Like getting down there, like doing that, sometimes it hurts. And I've noticed the weirdest thing is that and I go to, I do massages, but that's for my neck and stuff from carrying stress. But I also go to a stretch guy, and it's the weirdest relationship in the world. He's like bending my leg back in almost a scissoring position.
Right.
And he's like, how's that feel? And I'm like, oh, it's a little tight. I mean, it's awkward conversation central. And shout out to Mike. He's a badass. But
Mike, an awesome skit though, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's hilarious. Mike's, when we started stretching, like we started noticing a trend, which is the right side of like the lower half of my right is extremely tight. The upper half of it, left side is tight on that side, which I don't know where that's coming from. And so we're trying to diagnose it. And then I noticed that when I pedal, for example, I am stronger right foot. I'm right-handed, so I'm biased on the right side. And my neutral position is left forward, right back. Nope, other way around. Right forward, left back. I can't remember now. I'd have to
do you skateboard back foot?
No, it's left forward, right back. And so I'm putting all my pressure is going on that. You know, you're balanced, but
right.
I'm more I favor, and it's also why when I turn, I prefer to. I like left turns okay, but right turns are stronger for me. Or maybe it's
mine's
inverted.
opposite.
It's opposite, yeah. Mine's opposite too. So then left turns are better than the right turn. It's one of those kind of things because I'm so confident on this side. And so now I started changing my riding feet, like flipping around to go goofy
Feels
foot.
weird, huh?
It feels really weird. I can't do it on a lot of downhill. I guess my point in bringing all this up is like, I'm now fascinated by the little things that affect, that they seem very small, but they have huge repercussions on the riding stuff. Have you come across anything over the course of riding for, 5 or 6 years? Has there been something real small that made a huge difference in your, it doesn't have to be physical, fitness wise, it could be on the bike, but has there been a small thing that seemed insignificant that really like blew your world?
Besides like upgrading the bike, obviously that's different, but I'm just gonna go back to like being physically fit, like not just going 1 day a week, like learning that I need to be. It's mountain biking is not easy, and it's like once you get out there, you can get hurt really bad, and if you're not in shape or you're physically not strong enough to handle some of the things, not the stuff that we're doing like with the enduro stuff, but I'm saying just at South, like I think I see some people go in there. Actually, this is probably good. For beginners too, like when I learned to just relax on the bike, that was a huge thing. So like, because then your body doesn't tense up the whole time. You're loose. You can handle things. You don't overreact to things. Like think about this. Justina's in the room, so I kind of can speak to her. But like, if your bike does something and you react to that, it's already too late. The bike's already done it, right? So if you're so tensed up and tight, the bike hits a root and pops off to the side. Guess what? You're going to react really quick, and it's going to be too late, and you're going to fall over anyway. So it's like less reacting to the bike just because you ride loose and like kind of let the bike do what it wants.
That's practice, though. That's a practice.
Oh, it definitely is, and you can learn some of those skills at Dirt Coaster Academy. But the comfortability of it. But like you have to, and I think that's the biggest thing. Whenever you see new people, they come out and their fingers are like they won't even open their hands. Death grips. Like so, it's because they're freaked out, right? Well, if you could just loosen your hands up and almost like pull your hands back a little bit, like if you can ride with your hands open, like you'll realize it's crazy. Like I don't even, I ride like this. I don't wrap my thumbs.
Right.
And so everybody's always said that that's incorrect, but I also don't ride with my fingers over the brakes. So.
Right. Yeah, you like to move yours back and forth.
Yeah, Dirt Coaster yelled at me for that.
No, I got in trouble too. And then I got in trouble for the width of my bars because, on my Gorilla Gravity, they're cut down. And then it does feel weird. That is something that I will say, like, that's a small one. Sometimes I think, and that goes into maybe a little bit of bad marketing, bad information. There is a difference in 800. I mean, that's physics, right? So you need to cut them to what fits you. And there's a great thing by Lee Loves Bikes where you do a push-up and that measures. You close your eyes and do a push-up and have somebody measure it so you don't see what it is. And you don't. And it does help. And it is true. Like, I'm very confident on my Gorilla Gravity. But if I go ride, back when I rode my Trek a little bit more, it still got 800s on it. And when I rode that, after a while, my confidence level on that one was really good. And so when I switched to smaller ones, it felt like I was like this, like I was T-Rexing. And the reality of it was I wasn't. I was just shifted. So I think sometimes people cut down the bars because they think they need to, because that's what they see to do. And I don't necessarily think it's the right thing. Vice versa. It's not also right to say, hey, you need to just rock your bars at 800. Maybe they are too wide for you. I think the truth of it is like, it's expensive, but it's a small thing. Either borrow someone else's bars that are cut down if they have a spare set, or you need to buy two.
Or you could get really crazy and just have a bike fit because they're going to tell you exactly
that's where I was
what you need to go. Yeah.
The downside of a bike fit, of course, is the potential cost.
Well, my downside is I like aesthetics over feel. So if you're going to tell me I have to put like a longer stem, like, no, it looks dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that. But after doing long rides, I understand it. Like after doing those 70-mile races and stuff, like your body starts falling asleep in certain spots where it's not supposed to.
I also think, though, that the bike fit thing is going to, as we age, is going to become more and more important.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that Soft Member completely knows. I guarantee you Ralston knows. I get all
Nixon
these
knows. Remember, he had it on his bike frame.
That sure did. I think all of these guys that are, it's not because of their age. I just think that the experience has taught them, like, man, I've been riding long enough that I need this.
Yeah.
And they're not trying to just go out and send wicked shit. I mean, Nixon will. And Ralston's bad enough.
Yeah, he probably
will too. Allen or Soft Member, not so much.
No. But I
he
think
would ride a fuckload of miles.
you know what I think is great about those dudes, and this is kind of another side tangent because that's what this podcast is. But when I was in college, sports management, we had a whole entire class of lifetime sports called lifetime sports.
Oh yeah.
And like cycling is a lifetime sport if you make it a lifetime sport. And that's what's great is like cycling's one of the first skills you learn as a
my
little,
kids, they
little
hate it.
baby. And then
They won't do it.
I mean, we were walking and then biking, because it was like dirt
Same with
bikes
me.
after that.
Yeah.
So it was, then you can take it all the way to the grave. And that's whenever I look at it, it's like, man, I'm really avid cyclist now. And then I look like all the soft members in his mid 60s and he's still going as hard as we are. And it's like, damn, that's an aspiration. Like he's an inspiration, I guess, to be like, damn, I hope I can do that when I'm that age.
And he rides gnarly stuff. He's just not doing stuff. He's not sending the 20-foot gaps. That's not his style. Or the 30-foot tables.
No, but he wrecks more than all of us.
Yeah. And he bounces back up.
Because he goes hard.
Yeah, he definitely goes hard into it. That was the other side of things is that, by the way, if anybody wants, I have bikes for sale. I will post those at some point. I'm selling both of attempting to sell both my bikes. One is a Trek EXE that I learned something valuable about myself. I went on this last vacation with my family, and we literally I was in bike paradise the entire time. We bounced from Atlanta to Chattanooga to Nashville, and there is plenty of trails along the way. But I didn't take my bike because I wanted to focus on my family time. And it does get a little bit trickier for me if I bring a bike on. You went to Ohio without a bike. It does get harder for me because I want to go ride, and then I'm tired afterwards, especially in this heat, which is why I bought the EXE, and it's a great bike. But because I don't think I'm taking a bike with me on family trips anymore, my kids are getting to the point where they want to go do things. I just don't need it, so it's for sale. But that also led to a conversation we had. I posted this inside of our little like FNL group, our private group, and didn't mean it to be trolly. I was trying to be funny about it, but it didn't mean to be trolly. And then I got a bunch of calls because like, wait, what do you mean? You're selling your bikes?
Everybody freaking out.
I was like, no, I'm not getting. I'm just going in a different direction.
Yeah.
The one the one thing that I've always dealt with, I love both those bikes. They're great, and I'll keep riding them. Or the Gorilla Gravity, I'll keep riding. The Trek, probably not so much. I don't want to put miles on it. But the Gorilla Gravity, I'll keep riding until whenever. But the thing that I've never done is sit down and ride bikes to figure out what bike I actually want to own. Like I've never taken the time because, no offense, but we have 2 bike shops here. Well, 3, I guess. I mean, I'm not a big Giant guy, but we have Giant, Trek. I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of those bikes, but they don't rent bikes. So riding around a parking lot means jack shit to me.
Right.
So my goal is to eventually shift my riding a little bit. I want to go a little more all mountain. I've realized a few things about myself riding wise. Like, it's no offense to it. It's just not my style. Like the stuff that Chase and those guys up there want to do ain't for me. And there's 2 reasons why. One, I actually philosophical conversation here. I've told Justina this. She's already heard it. She has to hear it twice. I actually am really lucky that I enjoy my job. Like I love every aspect of my job. I'm the owner, yes. And so money is part of that. Yeah, I get paid well. But the other side of it is I literally enjoy what I do. Not every day on every single thing, but it's not like I go to work dreading it, looking forward to the weekend. In many cases, I'm like, fuck, I'd rather go back to work. Right? I enjoy what I do. So I have more fun 5 days a week than I do 2 days a week. But a lot of people don't have that. So I understand that the danger threshold and that idea of fun for them, they need that, right? But I literally also work at any given moment, my entire business could fall apart.
Right.
I could lose 2 clients, 3 clients.
There's your adrenaline.
And there's my adrenaline. So on the daily basis, I deal with that adrenaline rush. So I enjoy a little bit of it when riding, but I also can't afford to get so injured that if I go down, then I'm in big trouble with all their families because there's not a lot of people that can fill in the spots. So that's a balancing act for me. I have to have the cycling part. We've talked about the mental health. But I don't necessarily care about hitting a big, this isn't just me. I'm not saying it's wrong. There's no appeal to me to hitting a major rock drop.
Right.
And my ego, dude, I don't care on a bike. If we're going to, and Dale will tell you, I'm egotistical as a motherfucker when it comes to my creative shit. Like, I am an ego-driven bitch, but not on a bike.
Right.
Because again, I do all that here. I do that. So the bike is my escape. So part of what I'm looking at is shifting away from higher travel. I'm not going to XC, by the way. That's a little too boring for me.
I trolled your troll post.
Yeah, I saw it. I enjoy riding this is how I know to tell people, and you can describe what type of riding this is wherever the fuck you want in the comments. I enjoy riding a bike up a hill. I like climbing, and then riding down really fast.
Right.
I think that's just riding, but I'm sure there's a categorization, all mountain, whatever you want to call it, and that's what I'm after. So I'm looking to sell my bikes to make that move, just because that's what I enjoy riding more.
Right.
And I feel like I'm overbiked a little bit in the sense of like I'm not getting as much climbing efficiency, though we don't have much hills here.
Yeah.
When I go other places, I do feel like it's a struggle to climb these long travel.
Oh, dude, my bike is a bear to climb.
Right.
It's not even fun.
Right.
But I get what you're saying. Somebody asked me the other day.
You still have the status. You could always flip back camber.
The camber, yeah.
You
I
could
can
jump
flip.
back to the camber whenever you want.
Yeah, but that's what's crazy is when we went to Oak Mountain. I had the
Male person.
male person. Here's the mail that never fails. Makes me want to wag my tail.
Yeah.
Yeah, mail. Was it Blue's Clues?
That's the new male person.
Oh, so she doesn't know him.
She doesn't know. No, her. We had this dude that was fantastic. He had a mohawk. He was badass. I miss that guy. But our new male person is very dorky. You were saying Oak Mountain.
Anyway, we went to Oak Mountain and I had my camber because my other bike was destroyed. Yep. And then I went back to Oak Mountain with my other bike, and it's a totally different experience. Like
right. But we've still never ridden anything.
No.
But the gnarly
right.
downhill stuff.
But it still was a totally different.
Right.
Like those same trails that we rode, I rode on both bikes, and it was like, wow, this is fun, and that wasn't.
Yep.
So, but climbing, is totally different. So,
but even I think Kevin has that Ripley.
Yeah, he's taking the Ripley to Chattanooga this week.
That's interesting.
Instead of
because normally he takes his
stump jumper.
Yeah, but he said downhill bike.
Yeah,
he's
but
got climbing or something.
Yeah, he said last time he got beat by a dude on a cross country bike. So, and his Ripley's like 130 something. So yeah. It's not.
And that's my point. Is like there's a lot of it where that's more. Mm-hmm. I like riding up there, and the one thing that sucks is like getting gassed out on that side of it.
Right.
And again, e-bike helps with that, but it just is.
You miss a lot of fun trail though.
You miss a lot of fun trail.
So that's what I was getting ready to say is like I've gone through the stages that you're progressing the same trajectory as I have.
Right.
Like I started in cross country. Like that's all I wanted to do was go super fast without stopping. And so that's where I started. And then I slowly progressed like, hey, group ride stuff, friends hang out. Let's do these like enduro type rides. Well, I feel like I'm better at that than I am cross country. And so it's like, all right, I just kind of want to go cross country occasionally, but dabble in the enduro. So that kind of is the same type you're saying is like, whenever we go on group rides and stuff, you'll hear our friends like complain like, oh, another hill. I'm like, no, dude, we got to ride.
I love it.
You have to, have to ride to ride. Like you have to enjoy the suck to enjoy the other part even better.
That's the thing is I like that climb, that brutal climb up and like feeling gassed and getting to the top and stopping for that minute to be like, all right, now we're going to earn it down. It's the same thing of like a beer tastes really, really good after you've been cutting the grass in the summer and
or riding. Yeah.
Or gone riding, right? Yeah. I enjoy that's the same thing as a downhill element to me. I enjoy that climb. It's part of the process. Mm-hmm. Is it boring sometimes? Yes. But my bigger thing is like it's only boring to me if I'm riding in loops. That's why I don't do loop stuff. And that's why XC is not I mean, short tracks looks fun just because it's aggressive. Mm-hmm. But I would like to make it more of like enduro short track, short enduro. I don't know, something fun. So that's a separate issue. I don't care about racing either. But I guess for me, it's more a matter of like, I don't want to ride loop stuff. That's boring. Like one loop at like just 9 miles at USA, and I'm mentally, I'm like, this is boring. I'm done. Right. But I can ride at the Reb because I can ride a loop, and then I can go up to the top, and then I can send a bunch of downhill lines, and then I can, if I feel like I need more pedals on the way back up, I'll take a long way up. I enjoy that.
Right.
And I feel like it's a bonus from fitness.
That's what I was going to say.
From mentality. It's all of it.
It's like a full circle conversation. Like
exactly
we started with the fitness because our fitness is getting better. Our riding has to change. Right. Because it's like, well, we were only doing what we were capable of. And now we're capable of a little more.
That's it.
So it's like, if you are content with staying in one spot, like if this is all you ever want to do, and that's all, however good you want to be, then you're fine. Then don't go work out and don't ride different stuff. But if you want to be different and you want to constantly keep learning, because that's how you grow as a human, like that's how you become a better person.
But in fairness to your point, I think it's also interesting. There are guys and gals and folks that like theirs is to look at that Strava time and beat it.
Oh, right.
I got over that a long time ago. I was like, I just don't care. What I want to look at is I'm like a collector of moments, and I want as many moments as possible. And those moments only come from riding, which means the only way for me to chase those is riding new trails, group rides. Like it comes back to this very, very basic stuff. Going and riding solo, I'll have this, but there's nobody to share that moment with. So it's almost like all I want to be able to do is go ride with more people and have more fun. And so I need my fitness and my riding to be in a spot where, dude, we're going to go ride. Like, we all ended up having fun, but the Cahaba is not necessarily. We went to Oak Mountain and then we went to Cahaba.
Yeah.
There's a huge dip. Now, in fairness, we did not ride XC or any kind of trails at Oak.
No.
We only rode, we only walked a lot of trails.
Danger.
That day. Yeah. And so we didn't get to experience a lot of the other stuff. But if we were to have gone to, if we just rode Cahaba with the right group of people or Cannon Hill or any of that, but it's the same way in Chattanooga. Like now I go to 5 points and I ride 5 points and my skills have gotten so much better that 5 points is more up and down flow riding and fun. And what felt once very technical and scary is just now very simple and fun.
Right.
But there's no crazy jump. There are jumps if you want to hit them, but it's not built for that.
Right.
Whereas if I were to go to like ride Beeham, totally different experience for me. Right. Just because that's a different vibe. Same way with the Oak Mountains, like more challenging ones.
Right.
So it's about finding that balance of all that stuff, I guess is my point.
Yeah, I'm more. We talked about this on Sunday when we went and rode Muskogee in Pensacola,
Which is hot.
It was hot, but it was fun. It was really cool. I want to go back when it's not so hot.
Yeah.
We rode some fun stuff. That was fun, but it was fun. So I said though,
shout out to Pork for keeping that. shit up, too.
They've done a great job and they've grown it exponentially. But what I've learned is I like going fast, and then I'm not so much of a park jump guy. Like I would like to go fast, and if there's a jump, I'm going to hit it when I'm going fast. But then I also like coming around the next corner and being like, shit, I'm going too fast. Like I got to downshift because we got to pedal. Like I like that. And other guys come around that corner and they're like, oh, well, the fun's over.
Yeah. What's funny to me is I'm a big rally racing fan.
Yeah.
And I feel like my riding style is more rally racing than anything else, where it is about the technique of when to shift, when to brake into turns. But you're not going down. You're going fast, but you're going down. But sometimes you got to climb back up.
Right.
So if you look at some events, I mean, you're climbing up the hill.
Yeah.
They obviously have a motor. But I love that idea of like in my brain, there's a little co-pilot that's like left turn easy, right 5.
3 Titans, 3 turns.
Yeah. And so I'm in my brain, that's what's there.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it fun to me in riding. And I just that's what I'm chasing all the time.
Well, and you said you're a collector of moments. And the crazy thing is when I go on solo rides, like I literally can go to a certain spot at Chicxulub Park and tell you when I was on a solo ride and who I was listening to on my podcast.
Same.
Like I can go over this route and be like, oh yeah, I remember that conversation, like Joe
Mine's
Rogan.
with cutting trails.
Okay,
like
yeah.
I know that Uncharted, I was listening to the very attractive trans individual. That was on I forgot her name. Dang. I can't remember her name.
I don't remember either.
But I was listening to that podcast, did not know who she was.
Right.
And we've talked about this before. And I was like, I looked her up. I was like, this chick's pretty good looking. And then she, comes out and says that she, whatever, man.
She can't get pregnant.
Yeah, she can't get pregnant, something like that. I was like, dang. But I was literally cutting Uncharted, which I know exactly where I was when she said that she was trans. I was like, oh, I know exactly the turn, but it's the same thing. But those moments are my trail moments.
Yeah.
But on the ride, I've had more ride moments where it's like, oh my God, that was hilarious, or oh shit, that was, and I'd rather chase that.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I enjoy.
Yeah, I trained for Skyway at Chicxulub, and I listened to a whole entire Tyson Fury podcast with Rogan. It was like 4 hours, and I was like, I'm going to keep riding until it's over.
Good God.
And it was 2 laps forward, 2 laps backwards.
Oh my God. That's
so
brutal.
Tyson Fury and I went down a
rabbit hole of doom.
weird. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's good.
It was a good motivator.
I can imagine.
You know who he is, right? He's the boxer.
Yeah.
That turned fat and then came back.
Yeah.
He's the guy. He's like the real life Snatch.
Yeah. You're like one hit guy, right?
No, he's the one he fought. All the dude from here in the from Alabama, the big
Butterbean?
Dante Wilder, and Butterbean. Dante Wilder knocked him out, and then Tyson got back up, and it was great. Anyway, yeah, I think he's still the heavyweight champ.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not a
I used to watch some boxing. I just don't follow it anymore.
I don't really either, but that was a good podcast.
I would imagine it was. Yeah, especially for you because you like the athletic side. You like those listen to them athletes.
Yeah,
I'm like the nerd podcast.
I was gonna say I see the
athlete
producer director on there, and I'm like, oh, Drew's gonna love this. I'm gonna skip it.
Yeah. Although I don't like it when he has like too high level a director on. It kind of sucks the joy out of damn it, what's that guy's name? That not Full Metal Jacket. Jeez, he did. Doesn't matter. Anyway, he's just. It was an older director, and he just kind of gets the guy who did JFK.
Oh, yeah, he's crazy though.
Yeah.
So that dude goes down. Oh, what is his name? I know who you're talking about. But
I just can't. I mean, he's a major director, and I've met him before.
Yeah,
I met him in Atlanta at Intercontinental, and I can't remember his
name. But he's
name.
like a big conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, big time. But he's also but not the fun conspiracy theorist. It's like all real factual stuff.
Yeah, right.
That's boring.
Right. He's made 2 documentaries about it though, right?
He's obsessed with JFK. Dang, I can see his face even. Anyway,
I can't.
So I'm gonna reach over here and zoom this out. Whoops, wrong way. Zoom this out just a pinch so you guys can see it. We have a new shirt. If you're not familiar with this, we've added a bunch of you to the group. There's the shirt. Yeah, there's the shirt. It's fun. Inspired by the MTV logo, we have the MTB.
Also inspired by Nixon. Shout out Nixon.
Shout out Nixon for sure.
The
That's
Trail
a callback
Bikers.
to that episode. So that shirt is available in limited run in the gray with the yellow and the burgundy, like the actual old school MTV bits. It is available in the group.
That's right.
If you don't know what we're talking about, there's a Facebook group. Most of you have been added, I think, or we've thrown it out to you.
I'm going to keep adding people.
Yeah, there you go. It's out there for you. You look for it on Facebook. Here's how it works. You say you want to buy that shirt. First 10 people get it. And then you pay. And one of you, we do a random drawing, and one of you will not only get your shirt, you'll also get how much back?
Well, they get 30, 20.
So basically you get your money back plus $20.
Right. Yep.
So
they're $30 a piece.
Right.
And then you'll get 50
right.
Venmo'd back to you.
Venmo'd back, right. So you basically get a shirt plus that. Anyway, so you get a shirt and some free money. And all you got to do is just buy the shirt. The shirt's rad as hell anyways. Like I can't wait to get one myself. So it is available. Whenever this drops, it'll already be in the group, which I guess will.
And the other great thing is we'll never do another gray.
Correct. That color scheme will only exist for these 10.
That's right.
So it's like an NFT. That's your shirt. It only exists for that. We may switch to black next, but that group, that shirt is only there for that. It's one of my favorite shirts you've designed. I really, really, really like it a lot. And so again, thank you, Nixon, for the trail hate.
And I will, before I get hate, I did find somebody had done the MTB. They didn't do it nearly as good, I don't think. They had like a baby bee on here, like they didn't try to match the fonts, and
right.
So it was like some weird Etsy thing or something. But
it doesn't matter.
It's not.
You're still ripping off.
I'm
MTV.
I'm breaking copyright anyway, so
it's perfect. But it is a rad logo, and it's really, really, really solid. So that'll be available. You can pick that up again in the private Facebook group. It is $30, right? $30 for the shirt. What happens is if you win, we'll draw some name out of the 10 people that are able to buy it. And if you win, you get your shirt plus $20. So basically you get $50.
That's right. Pretty sweet, actually.
It's a good deal.
There's a couple of dudes out there that have already won their 50 back. So
yeah.
They'll
and
agree.
you see the shirts in the public. It's funny to see the Ninja Turtle one pop up, and I'm like, hey, I know that. Like
There's been a few people that said they've gotten a lot of compliments on that shirt.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a good generation.
And that's so every time I sit down to design something, I'm like, God, everything I do is the 90s. Like, well, we're all 90s babies, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we got a sweet spot. This demographic for sure. We're tied up into that. Is there anything else we need to touch on?
Yeah, we need to get everybody to sign up for the Fat Tire Crit.
Oh, yeah, if you're local or regional.
Yeah, we did it last year. If you guys remember, I know we did a podcast about it afterwards.
Yep.
So we're going to definitely go hang out at the races. There's Mobile Cycling Classic. It's August 12th and 13th. It's a road bike crit race, but then us dirtbags show up and do an awesome Fat Tire Crit for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
The price is lower this year. It was a little bit higher. It's not about the money. It's about the experience, and it's really fun. Last year we had a blast. We wore costumes and
Yeah,
play
we have to
music
coordinate
and-
this year, figure out what we're going to do. I think we have to.
Yeah.
I think the costume thing is fine.
My
but
wife has an idea, and I don't know if we can do it or not, but we'll
Oh,
talk
boy.
about it.
I almost feel like it needs to be like a Flutog type event. Like you just have to we get more and more outrageous as it goes.
Yeah.
And so pretty soon it's just like really obnoxious shit and nothing makes sense.
But if you don't, I mean, I've had some people that complained about the rules. There's no drop bars. There's no Lycra. There's no whining. 2.3-inch tires are bigger.
right.
It's about the experience. It's not about who can win. It's not about what if you
And let's
show
be
up.
honest,
I don't
if-
really care.
Yeah, no, I don't think
Nobody's measuring your tires, and
No.
if you want to ride a drop bar bike, freaking go for it.
Right.
But you're missing the whole point of it.
Right.
You know, there's 30 other races that weekend. You can ride those bikes and wear that outfit. So it's like if you're trying to do
Well,
it for
maybe
that,
if you're riding like 1030Bs with a drop bar, those are wide tires. Those are
Yeah.
almost 2.3.
Yeah,
so
do
I mean,
it.
you can. It's not like a hard set of rules. I think
No.
it's just stupid. It's not a real race.
it's
folks.
not a real race. That's
Like
right.
there ain't much to take from it.
No.
Aside from there's no real bragging rights. It means a bunch of idiots on bikes. Last time it was just stupid.
Yeah.
And we had a great time with it.
I broke my chain.
Yeah, right out of the gate. So I think it's more about having a good time, and we had a really good time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's on a Saturday night at 7 p.m. So you don't have to worry about your whole day being ruined. And honestly, I'll be there all day Saturday and all day Sunday. So if you want to come out and watch some awesome racing, like it's really, really cool to see dudes going 30 mile an hour like against each other.
Yeah.
Like it's like nut to butt. Like,
Yeah.
They have no, it's crazy, and they're in their underwear on the asphalt.
Yep,
like
for sure.
it's awesome to watch, and it's something different to do, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
Just bring your own beer because I'm not supplying everyone.
Yeah, if you want to, he means it doesn't cost anything if you just want to come hang. If you want to race,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
$40.
right, yeah.
Is it $40 plus the?
I think it's 30 this year plus 10,
30
so
plus
it's 40
10 for the race,
total.
so 40 total.
Yeah, the
which is
10
half is from last
Yeah,
year.
last year was like 65, and then if you signed up that day, it was like 80 something. But the other thing that a lot of people racing's gotten expensive.
Yeah.
So insurance for races are expensive. Like a lot of races are $100 to race. So for $40, I mean, it is what it is. It's fun.
It's a
Something fun to
race.
do.
Fun hang. And that's August 12th at 7 p.m. So I suggest you get there probably about like 6 o'clock just to get your shit together.
I would get there about 2 and hang out with me all day.
Or you can go be with Dale all day long. That's a super fun thing. We had a good time with it. It's worth it, especially because it's just a bunch of clowns.
Ooh,
That would be really creepy.
that
though.
would be creepy.
Oh God, it'd be amazing.
Not
if
the
we all dressed
idea,
up as
though.
clowns.
Oh man.
Yeah, kudos to anybody who dresses up as a clown. Maybe all of us.
Yeah, that'd be good. I got some red
Bunch
shoes.
of jokers.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of fun.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right, well,
That's
that's
easy.
going to do it for this show. And just remember what Dale Boyd says.
After an election, please take down your stupid signs.
And that's how you end a podcast about mountain bikes.